a pay crisis in the classroom.
We work with children, we like what we do, but we like being able to have a roof over our heads.
Just how much less Tennessee teachers are making and the real role it is playing in turnover.
So those security are mainly in the buildings rather than over on the buses.
A driver stabbed, just the tip of the iceberg. The growing concerns over safety on metro buses.
Plus, battling addiction one step at a time. How one man traded booze for belief. Fox 17 News at 9 starts now.
Middle Tennessee's only primetime news. This is Fox 17 News at 9, your Code Red station.
Skies over Music City quiet tonight, but we did have severe weather in parts of the viewing area earlier.
Well, there was a tornado warning, in fact, out in Cumberland County, and more severe weather is on the way. Fox 17 News at 9. Starting tonight in a code red weather alert, we've got Chief Meteorologist Katie Morgan tracking the very latest for us.
Got a lot of weather headed our way here, and we've had already quite a bit this week. But we do have more showers and storms to expect for Friday and Saturday. Things are going to remain isolated, though. I do want to hit home the fact that this is not going to be a washout any day. We will have a good chance at seeing showers and thunderstorms each and every day, but they will be isolated in nature. Still, we are tracking the potential for anything that does pop to be severe, possibly severe. Wind, hail, and even maybe a spin-up tornado like we had today. Biggest severe threat will come in for Sunday evening. That will be widespread across all of Middle Tennessee and southern Kentucky, and has the makings, or at least the potential, to become a severe weather outbreak for us, which we'll talk about in a little bit. But again, none of these days are looking like a washout. What is a little concerning is the fact that these storms are producing heavy rain. So any storm that does pop up can drop quite a bit of rainfall in a short amount of time. Some of these storms have been training today as well, meaning they're traveling in the same locations. Right now, in fact, we still have a few showers left over on radar. The good news is the severe weather threat is over. We do have a flash flood warning. That's what you see here, still in effect for portions of Jackson County into Clay County and Pickett and Overton County. This is where the bullseye of heavy rain was today. And again, it's isolated. We had this yesterday out near Aaron in Houston County. Today, most of this was in Clay County, and you can see anywhere between 4 or 5 inches of rain over a couple hours time. So again, these storms will be capable of some very heavy rainfall in addition to a small severe threat. Now, tomorrow's severe weather outlook does include a level 2 threat now out of 5, and that's going to be for folks along and west of I-65. Wind, hail, and heavy rain will be the primary concerns here. But again, a lot of these storms are going to be popping up throughout the day. There isn't a set time that we expect a line of storms to move through. So we'll be mainly weather aware for part of the late morning into the afternoon and again in the evening. Temperatures tonight stay very warm, very mild, still muggy outside in those upper 60s. We'll walk you through the timing for Friday, Saturday, and the potential for a larger severe weather threat come Sunday. That's all coming up.
Katie, thank you. Speaking of wicked weather, of course, tornadoes get most of the big attention, but lightning can be just as dangerous, and firefighters say lightning is what likely started this house fire in Franklin during the round of storms we had yesterday. Firefighters rescued a man who was trapped inside. There were no working smoke alarms in this house. Now, a heads up for everybody. Stay weather aware as we move into a long weekend with severe weather threats out there. Be sure to download, if you haven't already, the free Fox 17 News Code Red weather app. Just scan the QR code right there on the left-hand side of your screen, and it will take you directly to the App Store to our app.
We work with children, we like what we do, but we like being able to have a roof over our heads.
Tonight in Crisis in the Classroom, teachers are fed up and are leaving the state of Tennessee or even their profession because they say they're just simply not being paid enough. The National Education Association ranks Tennessee 6th lowest in the country when it comes to teacher pay. Fox 17 News' Caitlin Miller joining us live from Metro Nashville Public School headquarters out in South Nashville after talking with teachers today. What'd you find out, Caitlin?
Yes, Megan. Well, Metro Schools has 857 teacher openings as of today, and we spoke with education leaders as well as teachers, and they say the biggest reason for this is the teachers' pay. Susan Norwood is a Metro High School English teacher. She says teachers in Tennessee have not been getting paid well for years, and she blames the state.
We have a governor who says he values education, but not enough to pay us to either attract or retain us.
Retaining teachers is a major issue. That's why she says there's almost 900 classroom teacher openings in Metro schools. Fox 17 News scrolled through the 857 openings.
You're not going to develop an experienced base of teachers if we are always hiring new teachers who last fewer than 3 years.
Fox 17 News reached out to MNPS to see what they are doing to keep teachers in their schools, but we have not heard back yet. J.C. Bowman, CEO of the Professional Educators of Tennessee, emphasizes this is having a huge impact on learning.
We're just churning teachers through, and it's really part of the problem that we're seeing impacting our academic achievement.
Bowman says school districts are struggling because they're not getting enough funding from the state. Governor Lee is raising teacher salaries, aiming to raise the starting salary to a minimum of $50,000 for the 2026 school year. But Carolyn Marino, a teacher at Williamson County Schools, says this is not enough to live in or near their county.
My generation, we're established, but we're starting to get towards retirement. It's the younger teachers that can't afford to come in.
Which Marino emphasizes is the reason why people leave the state to teach. The NEA report shows that the average teacher salary here in Tennessee is just over $55,000. And it also indicates that the minimum living wage here in Tennessee is $55,000. Reporting live from South Nashville, I'm Caitlin Miller, Fox 17 News, your Code Red station.
Crisis in the Classroom is Fox 17 News' ongoing commitment to exposing problems in our schools and finding solutions. If you have a story you think we should cover, tell us about it and send that email to news@fox17.com, or you can phone our tip line, 615-266-4149.
To an update now on the man wanted for attacking a Vanderbilt employee outside of a parking garage at the medical center. Metro Police say right now they're looking for this man, 39-year-old Daniel Rivette, a convicted sex offender. They say he grabbed a female employee from behind, choked her, and forcibly touched her outside the Vanderbilt University Medical Center's East Garage. He's wanted for attempted rape, sexual battery, and kidnapping.
And I'll ride with anybody who's concerned.
In Operation Crime and Justice, the top man at WeGo goes on the record about safety issues surrounding Nashville city buses. This after one of his drivers was stabbed on the job this week. Fox 17 News' Kylie Walker taking those concerns to the bus service's CEO.
A transit advocate I spoke with tells me the stabbing and the shooting was really just the tip of the iceberg. But the CEO of WeGo says these are rare occurrences.
There's been 4 operator security incidents this year thus far. That's according to a recent WeGo report. And arrest trends also fell slightly from 57 people in 2021 to 50 people in 23. But now we're not even 6 months into the year, and that number is already at 40 arrests.
I have felt uneasy for quite a few years.
After the recent crimes committed on a WeGo bus and at the Central building downtown, longtime bus rider Darius Knight says his concerns were only heightened.
As disturbing and as unusual as these 2 incidents were occurring in such close proximity, they are still a very rare occurrence on a system that carries about 30,000 riders each day.
CEO Stephen Bland of WeGo Public Transit breaking down those new numbers. He says from fiscal year 2017 to fiscal year 24, they've increased spending on contracted security services with Allied, Universal, and Metro Police from more than $1.2 million to more than $2.4 million.
So those security are mainly in the buildings rather than over on the buses?
We do have security presence on board on sort of an as needed or on a random basis. But to be honest, with 260 buses in our system, you know, again, we're relying on the operator, the folks who are riding that bus, video.
Bland says they're budgeting for another 42% increase in spending in the upcoming fiscal year. As of now, he says they have 24/7 security at their central location, and every vehicle has multiple recording systems on board. Bland says they're constantly evolving and expect more recommendations in the coming months.
Keep in mind, North Nashville will see a new WeGo Transit Center next month. So we asked the CEO as well, how will they ensure safety at this location? We'll have all those details coming up on Fox 17 News at 10. For now, reporting in downtown Nashville, Kylie Walker, Fox 17 News, your Code Red station.
Continuing coverage now in the death of a Fort Campbell soldier. Clarksville police investigating 23-year-old Katia Aguilar's death as a homicide tonight. There is a reward for helping to solve the case. The Texas native found dead inside a home on Tinytown Road Saturday night. The League of United Latin American Citizens now offering a $25,000 reward for information leading to an arrest in this case. A fellow soldier and friend of Duenas Aguilar, once stationed at Fort Campbell with Aguilar, remembering her friend tonight.
It just doesn't feel real. Like I just doesn't feel real to me to this day. It just feels like a really, really bad nightmare that you want to wake up from. And I really just want to text her phone number and be like, hey, are you okay?
Oh my goodness. Well, Mitchell says she plans to make a photo album for Duenas Aguilar's 4-year-old son so that he can remember his mother. Spokesperson for the Post says 101st is fully cooperating with the investigation.
Still to come tonight, an illegal monopoly, the lawsuit that could crush the top ticket seller and concert promoter in the country.
And no longer running from her past, the bright future ahead for this ultra marathon runner.
You're watching Fox.
Continuing coverage tonight on issues with Nashville-based ticket retailer Live Nation. Tennessee's Attorney General is joining the U.S. Justice Department and 30 other states in a lawsuit claiming Live Nation is operating an illegal monopoly, essentially over the live entertainment business. Joining us now with more on the lawsuit is Tennessee Attorney General Jonathan Skrmetti. General, thank you for taking the time to do this. And I think everybody's familiar with Live Nation. As I say, they're headquartered here in town. They own Ticketmaster. What is wrong with the company's business model as you see it?
So the problem is they control different pieces of the live entertainment process in a way that lets them reinforce their businesses over venues, over promotion, over ticketing, in a way that makes it hard for anybody to step in and compete in any one of those areas. And by doing that, they're able to restrict competition, drive up prices, and consumers are feeling it.
Now, we've heard this argument from small venues for a long time. I'm sure they're thrilled with the lawsuit. In addition to allegedly holding the venues hostage, your suit alleges that Live Nation is essentially doing the same thing to music artists, all the big names that we know and want to see. How's that?
So they control a lot of different pieces here. So they control venues, and they can say to artists that don't want to play ball, we will cut you off from these venues. They control artist promotions, so they can say to venues that don't want to play ball, we will cut you off from these artists. And they're able to steer everybody toward their ticketing process. So it's the multiple pieces that they control that reinforce this monopoly. That's where the problem comes from.
Any idea how much a lack of competition, which you've just described in great detail, could be adding to the ticket prices that all of my viewers are paying?
So I don't know the exact number, but I do know that people have determined it's cheaper to fly to Europe to see Taylor Swift than it is to do here. But we'll have experts breaking down the math and should have a much better idea as the case progresses.
I read something the other day about people flying to Europe to see the Eras Tour. For the example that you just mentioned, it was cheaper. Now, if the courts agree that this is an illegal monopoly for all the reasons you laid out, how do we fix it? What's the remedy?
Well, because these interlocking pieces are reinforcing each other, the best remedy is to take them apart. Ticketmaster and Live Nation were allowed to merge years ago by the Department of Justice. There was a consent decree that was supposed to prevent the abuses that we've seen. The consent decree didn't work. It's time to break them up.
Sounds like the phone company all over again with a different industry.
You know, monopolies are bad for consumers, and free competition, free market competition is essential. But when markets break down and you see power get concentrated, the only way to fix it is to restore that competition. Sometimes that means breaking a company up.
Now, when you go to court, there are two potential outcomes. You win, you lose. What's your confidence in terms of winning this particular lawsuit?
Well, antitrust cases are complicated, so I don't want to do too much chest pounding here, but we've got 30 states plus the Department of Justice who have invested a lot of time in this. We've worked hard to put together a strong case. You see people from across the spectrum, very bipartisan case here. A lot of different people with a lot of different views who all agree that consumers are being hurt. So I think that suggests we've got a pretty strong case, and I feel really good about bringing this. It's way overdue.
Well, as you know, Tennessee is watching with interest. State Attorney General Jonathan Skrmetti, thanks so much for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
Well, Tennessee is actually only one of 3 states to pass laws requiring companies like Ticketmaster to give you all-in prices up front, an extra layer of transparency. But say you want to go see a show in another state. We'll take this for example. Looking for a ticket to see Morgan Wallen July 26th. This is out in Arlington, Texas, and you can see the ticket subtotal here. One ticket, $160. Okay, well, you got 2 fees here. A service fee, that's going to be another $30.80, and then a smaller order processing fee, that's another $2.95. It adds up. Then we've got to put tax on that, $15.98. So with all of those charges accruing, it comes out to $209.73 when you thought you were buying a ticket for $160. That is almost $50 of extra fees, taxes, things like that per ticket. About a 31% price increase from that base ticket price. Well, in tonight's viewer poll, we asked, do you think concert tickets are priced too high due to a lack of retailer competition? This poll's live right now. 157 votes have come in. 92.4% of respondents say, yeah, this price is way too high. 7.6% say no. This poll is live right now. If you'd like to weigh in, you can cast your vote, scan the QR code. It's right there on your screen. It'll take you to our X page where you can weigh in. We'll show you updated poll results here tonight at 10.
Our code red weather alert continues all the way through the holiday weekend, I'm afraid, with a chance, at least a small chance for severe weather each day. And I kind of want to touch on that small chance first. This is what we mean when we talk about isolated thunderstorms. I thought I would explain this a little further. Tomorrow and Saturday, basically going to be isolated storms. So what does that exactly mean? Well, it means some will see rain and some will not. So maybe at your house, you end up with no rain and you canceled your plans. And then someone else may have went forward with their plans and they get rain. That's kind of what we're dealing with when we have rain in one spot and not another. So I like to say rain for thee, but not for me. So that is going to be the case over the next few days, kind of like today. In fact, Nashville did not end up seeing a ton of rain. We had a little bit this morning, but not this afternoon. But we saw quite a bit of it east of here. And that again will be the issue for tomorrow. Now, tomorrow we are looking at a level 2 out of 5 threat. A lot of that is going to be west of 65, where that slightly higher threat is. This just means that we're going to have a little bit better ingredients for severe weather to occur. Then we get into Saturday, we're in a level 1 out of 5 threat. So these are generally low threats for severe weather. We're looking at category 1 and 2, a few strong thunderstorms to scattered severe storms that are possible. We get into Sunday, that'll be a whole different ballgame. I think we could see in some part of our viewing area, most likely along and north of I-40, at least a level 3, but we still have a couple days to iron out those details. So we're going to focus on next 2 days. Again, that small threat there. All modes are possible, but wind will be the highest concern, and the tornado threat's pretty small. So through Friday morning, a few showers will be possible for us. These won't be severe. We get into the afternoon, and that's when we'll have better ingredients for a few strong to severe storms, possibly in the same area we had some today. But even still, west of 65, I think we will have maybe 1 or 2 pop, and those will also at least have a chance to become severe as well. Here's 2 o'clock, and then we head into the later part of the evening. Again, kind of same pattern as today here. A lot of activity to the east, and then we get into early Saturday morning. Looking at a few showers and thunderstorms that kind of hang around for us here. Any one of these will produce some heavy pockets of rain as well. And notice through much of Saturday afternoon, there's a lot of dry hours here, so won't be a washout. But when we do see those thunderstorms pop, we want to make sure that we're staying weather aware. 6 p.m. on into early Sunday morning, still pretty quiet here for the overnight hours. Again, Sunday, a different ball game. So we'll talk more about that and walk you through our long range forecast coming up in your Fox 17 Code Red forecast. Megan.
Thank you, Katie. Embracing the invasion, the fun way that one couple apparently is celebrating those cicadas.
It's that time.
Time to call.
The cicada invasion from Michigan, Illinois, Missouri, all the way down through the Bible Belt, Tennessee, Georgia, Alabama, Mississippi, they are here.
They are everywhere. And as you probably have seen by now, they're making their presence known. Pesky to most, while a rare handful, on the other hand, are mesmerized. Take a look.
An unmistakable symphony, bringing about everything from childlike wonder to the nuisance of that nails on a chalkboard feeling. And then there are those like Leonora and Tony Clifford.
It's really hard to miss whatever we put out there.
Heading down 96 East as you make your way into Franklin, it's become a city exhibit of sorts.
Oh, we are constantly honked at, waved at. If you sit here long enough, there are people filming, going by.
People want to come by and
take pictures with them, which is fine. We're happy for anyone to come by.
Every season, Lenora gives Tony her honey-do list, and that includes yard work. By now, Tony has come to expect the unexpected.
There was a pretty long gap between Easter and Memorial Day, so I asked my husband if he could come up with a way for us to build giant cicadas for the yard so we could celebrate the emergence of the cicadas. So I got the eye roll, as I usually do, several times a day. There's no limit. The limit is how many boards of insulation board we can get in the truck.
All in good fun. It brings a little joy to the neighborhood, something Lenora and Tony love to sit on their porch and watch.
Well, running towards his future instead of running from his past. The turnaround for one man battling addiction.
Make dinner good. Fox 17 News Farrier Files is sponsored by Bart Durham Injury Law.
A story of addiction, recovery, and discipline. Miracles, it seems, can happen anywhere, even at the Nashville airport.
Stan Fleming was headed straight to oblivion when he says something incredible happened. Fox 17 News' Dennis Ferrier has his story in tonight's Ferrier Files.
You might catch Stan Fleming running at Warner Park. He's not real fast, but he never quits. Stan is an ultra marathon runner. He just finished a 100-mile race at Fall Creek Falls. He's training for an even harder race in Leadville, Colorado.
Running is incredibly meditative for me. It's spiritual. My connection to God, I see God in nature. I see God in creation. So when I'm out running in these natural settings, and I get to experience that all day and kind of vibe with the trees and nature, that does something to my whole aura, you know, and raises me up. I've gotten so much from running.
This is not a story about an amazing athlete. This is a story of an amazing life change. Stan Fleming was an alcoholic. It had cost him almost everything. Homeless, in trouble with the law, family relationships broken. A friend brought him a one-way ticket to Los Angeles to be a homeless, surfing vagabond.
I was hopeless. You know, that was my giving up point when I boarded that airplane. I don't know, I had some words with God that day, you know, about how things have been going. And I believe I said to God, I said, I don't think there's ever been a person who's cried out to you as much as I have in the history of the world. But you've never done anything for me.
And then, of course, God showed up in the strangest place, the Nashville airport. Stan missed 4 flights that day. That caught the eye of some Cumberland Heights alumni. They offered to help him. Stan ended up at Cumberland Heights that day detoxing. After that stay at Cumberland Heights, he won a scholarship to Still Waters of Cumberland Heights, a 12-step residency program. That was 4 years ago. To make a long journey short, Stan is sober and works as a case manager at Still Waters. His life looks nothing like it used to.
It's one of the best things that's ever happened to me, you know. I apologize.
No, don't at all, Mike.
It's emotional. It's just been a wild ride, you know?
Now Stan runs and runs and runs. He's not running away anymore. Stan Fleming runs straight through everything in his path. And if you didn't know that ultra marathons and a sober life are kindred ideas, you do now.
I certainly think perseverance is probably the right word to use with it. With ultra running, it's the same thing. You know, we go through different phases in a race. You know, we go from up here to, you know, the lowest of lows, and you have to push past that lowest of lows because there's always a bright side on the other side of that. There's nothing special about me. If you show up, God will show up for you. If you put the effort into recovery, you'll continue to progress in recovery just like me.
Stan runs to raise money to sponsor people like himself who need treatment. His not-for-profit is called A Fighting Chance. Isn't that perfect? Cumberland Heights is also running a matching donations all May. So if you want to help, it will go a long way. Go to our website. We'll tell you how you can do it. I'm Dennis Ferrier, Fox 17 News, your Code Red station.
Fox 17 News Farrier Files is sponsored by Durham Injury Law.
The chance to enact changes at the border hits a wall. I'm Christine Frizzell on Capitol Hill with the latest attempt at immigration legislation.
Feels good to be home.
New tonight, the U.S. Senate rejects another bill to improve the crisis along our southern border.
And as Fox 17 News' Christine Frizzell reports, the issue has become front and center in the 2024 presidential race, with both Democrats and Republicans playing the blame game.
It's take two on Capitol Hill at an attempt to pass what was a bipartisan border bill.
The motion is not agreed to.
The legislation, which was endorsed by the National Border Patrol Union, provides more money to fight fentanyl smuggling and to hire more Border Patrol agents and immigration judges. It also tightens asylum rules. It was crafted with the help of conservative Oklahoma Senator James Lankford, who ended up voting against it.
It's no longer a bill, now it's a prop.
While a handful of Democrats also oppose the bill, most insist it's assigned Republicans, who have long called the situation at the border a crisis, are all talk and no action. With a warning, voters will be upset they blocked it.
When they hear that the only reason Republicans are backed away from this bill is not that it wasn't strong enough, but that Donald Trump said he wanted chaos at the border, they don't like that.
The White House asked on Wednesday why President Biden isn't doing more with his executive authority.
Why should he have to do it unilaterally? Why should we do it in a legislative way? In order to deal with what's happening at the border, in order to deal with a broken immigration system, you need law.
But it's a law many others say could incentivize more people to come.
You don't disagree with more border agents or more immigration judges?
I'll never disagree with more resources. However, we can't have a bill out there that gives President Biden the cover to break the law.
Joseph Fedlow, former acting director of U.S. Citizenship and Immigration Services, argues the bill codifies what he calls catch and release for those who claim credible fear. Instead of giving them immediate hearings, they would be released and given work authorizations.
There are legitimate people seeking protection, but the majority of people that we are seeing coming across right now are economic migrants, and the way Congress has written the law, that is not a grounds for protection in this country.
With Congress unable to move this, the question now is if President Biden will take matters into his own hands to the extent that he can. On Capitol Hill, I'm Christine Frizzell.
Putting a stop to bullying, how a new Tennessee law aims to curb the problem.
Ultimately, our goal is to protect the kids, and this is the only way I know how to do it.
Tonight in Crisis in the Classroom, Governor Bill Lee signing legislation making bullying a criminal offense in our state, classifying it moving forward as harassment.
Fox 17 News' Peyton Mew shows us what this could mean for our schools.
Lawmakers inside of our state's Capitol building are laying the hammer down when it comes to bullying in Tennessee. This new law not only defines bullying, it includes cyberbullying and makes sure that parents are in the loop.
Bullying is a factor of acts of violence and suicides, and I was sort of surprised under the harassment statute that wasn't defined at all.
Now, thanks to a new state law, any form of it, in person or behind the screens of their phones, will not be tolerated. State law now defines bullying as an act committed by a student that interferes with another student's education, opportunities, or performance, including all forms of cyberbullying. If a child is bullied, this law requires the police to file a report and let the parents know and walk them through getting a copy of the report. Representative Lowell Russell drafted this bill. He says a parent wanted to file a police report about their child being bullied in school, and the school didn't want to report it, and this is how the bill came about.
We wanted to make sure there is documentation of these bullying offenses, and that the parents can, if their school resource officer does not want to charge, they can actually take the report down to the clerk's office and swear out warrants themselves.
Representative Russell says it doesn't matter if bullying happens on school property or off. J.C. Bowman with Professional Educators of Tennessee says this law is headed in the right direction, but needs some work.
Causing emotional distress and or creating a hostile education environment, both of those are subjective. And I'm not sure they're real clear on how they're defining those.
Bowman says one of the problems with this law is the lack of consequences. Only a record, but still no punishment. If they're underage, it's not like they're going to jail, but there will be a record of it and they will be cited for it. If they're 18 or older, it's a Class A misdemeanor, and now all of a sudden, real crime with real consequences. This law goes into effect July 1st. Reporting at the Capitol, Peyton Muse, Fox 17 News, your Code Red station. Crisis in the Classroom is Fox 17 News' commitment to exposing problems in our schools and finding solutions. If you have a story that you think we should cover, send us an email to news@fox17.com. You can also call our tip line at 615-266-4149.
All right, let's get back to Code Red weather, and I hate to say it, but it sort of feels like Groundhog Day.
Yeah,
Here we go again.
I know, and we're heading into a busy weekend. A lot of folks coming in from out of town that may not be as familiar with the area. New folks coming in every day. A lot of people traveling. Yeah.
We should tell them it's not always like this.
It's not always like this. Yeah, I mean, traditionally, you know, April, May is our severe weather season, but it's just been kind of on overdrive for the past couple of weeks. Before that, we had no tornadoes for 2024. So again, not even here, but nationwide, we've just been crazy the past few weeks with tornadoes. Some very crazy footage coming out of Oklahoma again tonight with intense tornadoes. Back here at home, we've got a lot of things going on downtown. Thursday night, things start to get a little bit busy on a Thursday night, and then Friday, it's busy. As far as the Memorial weekend ahead here, we are looking at showers and thunderstorms around. Every day we'll have a chance for at least some pop-up showers moving through. Any one of those could turn strong to severe. The exception would be some morning showers that we could even see for tomorrow morning. But I'd say that our main event that we're looking at will come on Sunday. That's going to be what we're looking at. So still looking at the potential for multiple rounds of storms. There will still be plenty of dry hours in between those rounds. So it's one of those things. I've had a few people ask me, should I cancel my plans? If it were me personally, I wouldn't. I would just stay weather aware and have a backup plan in place just in case we do have those storms around, because there will be several dry hours. And in fact, on Sunday with our main severe weather event, we may go much of the day without seeing much storm activity until the evening hours. We're a little still working on timing for Sunday, but right now, if I had to put a timing on it, I'd say the majority of the event will likely be in the evening into the overnight. So best way you can stay up to date with the latest forecast is, of course, have that weather app at your fingertips. Our Fox 17 Code Red weather app will do just that. Not only that, it's going to alert you to severe weather once it arrives. So let's take a closer look at Sunday here. This is our outlook. The outlook looks a little bit different for day 4, 5, 6, 7. And that's just because it's a little broader, and we don't want to mistake it for our day 1, 2, and 3 outlooks that have the greens and oranges and reds and yellows and all that too. So this is sort of just a highlighted area. We have been expanded more into that 30% bullseye. So it's looking again likely that we should have some decent chances for severe weather for much of Middle Tennessee. I do think too we're looking at quite a bit of severe weather here in southern Illinois, St. Louis area, and towards the Missouri Boot Heel, and possibly up towards Indiana and up into the Cincinnati area, including Louisville. So this is pretty much centered to where I was looking at some of our long-range models as well. So let's walk you through Saturday and Sunday. Saturday again, some showers and storms through the afternoon. They will be scattered across the area. You may see rain, you may not, but where we do see those storms pop, heavy rain, wind, the potential for a brief tornado is there, but wind and rain I think are going to be our higher concerns. This is Saturday night. Into early Sunday, looking relatively quiet. This is Sunday morning at 5 a.m. We'll continue to see a few showers possible through the afternoon. Anything that's in the afternoon hours will need to be monitored for severe potential, but that should remain pretty isolated. The main event is likely to occur after 6 p.m. Here you can see showers and storms starting to line up. This will be along a cold front here and will push through. Right now it's looking, unfortunately, through the overnight into Memorial Day Monday. And as we head through Monday, the potential for a few more showers and storms possible for us before we finally clear going more into Tuesday morning. It does look like, at least for what it's worth, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday of next week looking a little more quiet for us. Until then, we have a very active few days to get through. Again, isolated strong storms possible. We just have a very energy-rich atmosphere, meaning severe weather. It's not going to take much energy for it to get going because we have a lot of it already just kind of hanging around here. So those storms will eat that up and they will turn strong quickly. Friday, Saturday, and then that main event coming in on Sunday. The good news, we are drying things out as we head into next week.
Weather Window, presented by the National Weather Desk.
It's beginning to look a lot like winter in western Montana. Up to 18 inches reportedly fell at higher elevations. That crash of thunder in Rhode Island certainly got his attention. Strong thunderstorms are bringing heavy rain and lightning to the Bay State. And we're not sure who is more curious here, the squirrel or the 4 dogs behind the door.
For more content like this, follow the National Weather Desk on TikTok.
And you can see more weather stories like this every weekday morning on the National Weather Desk starting at 8 a.m. Not here, but over on our sister station, MyTV 30.
Well, managing expectations, advice to help ease your children into summer break.
This Fox 17.
In health news tonight, the school year, of course, winding down. And while that's great for children and teachers jumping for joy on that end, the shift can also pose some challenges.
Well, experts say there are a few steps that parents can take now to help students settle into summer.
From the classroom to the living room, students will go from being dialed in to letting loose.
Transitions can be challenging, and we want to normalize that. Sometimes we feel like we're doing something wrong, but often it's just that we're going through something hard and you're having a normal response to that.
Jody Baumstein with Children's Healthcare of Atlanta's Strong for Life program says parents can help. First, get ahead of the change by talking about expectations, what you expect from them this summer. Next, keep an open dialogue. Some may be sad to leave friends, while others will be excited about summer. They can feel more than one emotion, so talk to them.
And it doesn't always just have to be a conversation where you're sitting across from each other. In fact, that can feel intimidating. So maybe it's while you're driving somewhere or you're playing a game, you're just kind of checking in and asking how they're feeling without telling them or putting your own feelings onto them.
Baumstein says maintaining routines can also help with transitions. That means keeping the same bed and wake times and meal times. Finally, she says kids will learn how to navigate change by watching adults.
We're role modeling. That language is important, and having that growth mindset is really powerful for ourselves and also for kids as they're growing and developing their own resilience.
Baumstein says learning how to deal with feelings around change and transition is important and something children will carry with them into adulthood.
Just ahead, the healing power of music. Some big stars taking to the red carpet for a great cause here in Nashville.
to 25% locations.
In your community tonight, a local nonprofit bringing live music to people being treated in local hospitals. They're now celebrating 25 years of service.
It's a milestone. Now, Musicians on Call attracting some big names from the Nashville music scene. Country star Kelsey Ballerini among those walking the red carpet. The artist honored with the Music Heals Golden Ukulele for her work with the organization. Musicians on Call, easy for me to say, Musicians on Call, uses virtual and digital streaming programs to provide music at the bedside of patients across the country. It is the nation's leading provider of live music in hospitals.
I'm Jeff Harris in Washington. According to a new study, Americans are opting for marijuana over alcohol. We explain what's causing that shift and if it might switch back coming up.
Another liberal city gets rid of their progressive prosecutor. I'm Kayla Gaskins with that story straight ahead.
This is Fox 17 News at 10, your Code Red station.
With a Code Red weather alert for multiple chances of severe weather in the coming days.
Well, we had a severe threat earlier and even a tornado warning, but the biggest threat that we're watching right now, days away.
Fox 17 Chief Code Red meteorologist Katie Morgan here with what we need to know. Headed into a long holiday weekend that could be fraught with Mother Nature's potholes.
A lot of plans going on. A lot of folks want to be out and about. I still think you'll have time to do that. No day is looking like a washout, but there are going to be some days that we need to keep our eye on for the severe potential here. Friday and Saturday, storms remain isolated. That means you may see rain, you may not. But where we do see those thunderstorms pop up, we will look at strong to severe storms to pop up quickly. The bigger severe threat comes on Sunday. And again, none of these days look like washouts. Sunday would be the main event that we are looking at. It would be more widespread, but right now that's looking like Sunday night into early Monday morning. Radar is looking a lot better here over the past couple of hours after a pretty active afternoon. We continue to see this flash flood warning here for much of Clay County and into Pickett County, Overton and Jackson County. This should expire here in the next 15 minutes or so. But again, we've had these showers and storms drop a ton of rain out of a short amount of time. Today, it just happened to be mainly in Clay County. Yesterday, it was in Houston County, upwards to 4.5, almost 5 inches of rain. And again, that's the concern with a lot of these showers and storms over the coming days here will be the amount of rain that we can see in a short amount of time, along with the potential for a few strong thunderstorms. Now, this is Friday's threat. Wind and hail, bigger threat will be a little west of I-65, level 2 out of 5 threat. Tonight, temperatures stay on the mild side. We'll walk you through the timing with Future Track on when we might see some of these showers and storms move through. That in your Fox 17 Code Red forecast.
We have a governor who says he values education, but not enough to pay us to either attract or retain us.
Tonight in Crisis in the Classroom, you heard her, teachers fed up, some leaving the state, in some cases the profession, over pay.
Well, some of these teachers say the state of Tennessee is to blame, and education leaders say it's impacting classroom learning. Fox 17 News' Caitlin Miller joining us live in South Nashville at Metro Schools headquarters with the complaints. Caitlin.
Megan Scott, Metro Schools has almost 900 teacher openings as of today. And the teachers that we spoke with say that they're blaming the pay. Now, we spoke with Susan Norwood, who's a high school teacher at Metro and an English teacher. Norwood says that teacher retention is a major issue. That's why she says there's 857 openings in Metro, and she adds most teachers are not lasting more than 3 years. Fox 17 News reached out to MNPS to see what they're doing to keep teachers in their schools, but we have not heard back from them yet. J.C. Bowman, CEO of Professional Educators of Tennessee, emphasizes this is having a huge impact on learning.
The key to success in education is keeping people on the job for a long period of time. It takes a while to learn how to teach. When they learn how to teach, they get in there and they're able to do their job and do it more effectively.
Bowman says school districts are struggling because they're not getting enough funding from the state. Now, Governor Lee is raising teachers' salaries starting in the 2026 school year. His goal is to have the minimum starting salary for teachers be $50,000. But the teachers we spoke with today say that's still not enough. Reporting live from South Nashville, I'm Caitlin Miller, Fox 17 News, your Code Red station.
Caitlin, thank you. Crisis in the Classroom is Fox 17 News' ongoing commitment to expose problems in our schools at all levels and to look for solutions. If you have a story you think we should cover, send an email to news@fox17.com, or you can call our tip line as well. You see the number at the bottom of the screen, 615-266-4149.
Continuing Operation Crime and Justice after a stabbing on a WeGo bus and a shooting on a WeGo property. Concerns growing about the safety of our public transit. Tonight, the CEO of WeGo addressing those concerns. Stephen Bland says from 2017 through 2024, the group increased spending on safety from $1.2 million to $2.4 million. Bland expects to increase spending by 42% in the next fiscal year. This as a new transit center is expected to open next month in North Nashville.
What will you be doing to ensure safety when that North Nashville Transit Center opens this year?
North Nashville Transit Center will have a 24-hour-a-day, 7-day-a-week security presence, as well as the support devices like digital video surveillance.
Well, Bland says every vehicle currently has multiple recording systems on board, and the company is constantly evolving with more safety recommendations coming in a few months.
New tonight, Tennessee joining the U.S. Justice Department and more than 24 other states in suing Live Nation. The lawsuit alleges the Nashville-based company is illegally monopolizing the live entertainment industry. Tennessee's Attorney General Jonathan Skrmetti says Live Nation controls two of the most important parts of Tennessee's live entertainment industry, that being ticketing and tours. The suit alleges Live Nation essentially squeezes out the competition, drives up concert fees and prices for fans, and can leave artists with few places to play unless they agree to let Live Nation do the ticketing.
They control venues, and they can say to artists that don't want to play ball, we will cut you off from these venues. They control artist promotions, so they can say to venues that don't want to play ball, we will cut you off from these artists. And they're able to steer everybody toward their ticketing process.
Now, I did reach out to Live Nation this afternoon here in town to ask for a reaction to the lawsuit. I was told no comment at this time.
Well, continuing coverage on that same topic tonight, Tennessee, one of only 3 states to pass laws requiring companies like Ticketmaster to give you a transparent, all upfront price. Here's what we mean. If you go to Ticketmaster and choose to buy a ticket for a show or a game here in the state of Tennessee, you'll get this message right there on the screen, which says that you will see a full price up front, including all the fees. So whatever's on the screen is exactly what you'll pay. New York and Connecticut are the only other states that offer this service. The rest of the states, they're running into problems. So let's say you go see another show in another state. For example, we're going to take a Morgan Wallen concert in July in Arlington, Texas. Okay, so we pulled a ticket there. It is $160 for one ticket, but you also have those fees that you typically see. A service fee of $30.80 on top of a order processing fee of $2.95. Let's add in those $15.98 taxes, so it's all adding up here. Grand total of $209.73 for a ticket that you thought cost $160. That is almost $50 more in fees and taxes than what you thought you were paying. It's about a 31% increase from that initial base ticket price. Well, earlier in our newscast, we asked you, do you think concert tickets are priced way too high due to a lack of retailer competition? Here are the votes. We're climbing up here on almost 200 votes. 93% of respondents say, yeah, tickets are too high. And 7% said no. I'd like to ask those people some questions. Each night, go to our X page. Our handle is @Fox Nashville, and we'll show you a new poll that you can participate in.
New tonight, a Middle Tennessee business that specializes in hemp products is now suing the city of Spring Hill. Old School Sales claims that the Spring Hill Police Department and the District Attorney General illegally seized the company's hemp, thinking that it was essentially the same as marijuana. Now, the business claims that it has lab results to prove that its hemp complies with Tennessee law. And it's calling for at least $1.35 million in damages and is asking for its hemp to be returned.
All right, still to come tonight, coming together to fight for safety, the change lawmakers are looking to make.
You're watching.
Well, continuing coverage as the air quality at 30,000 feet could be improving for plane passengers and flight crews.
And that's a big deal for some travelers. Lawmakers have introduced what they're calling a bipartisan Safe Air on Airplanes Act today, which would require new electrical systems, scrubbers, if you would, to combat pollutants.
Well, most commercial jets use a bleed air process where air is compressed through the engine, which can become toxic when oil or hydraulic fluid leaks. Members of Congress say workers and customers have a right to clean air.
This is a very practical piece of legislation. We're not saying this needs to happen tomorrow. We've set out what we believe is a very fair timeline for the manufacturers for us to do this switch to ensure the safety of all of our passengers and of our flight crew.
This measure builds on the recent FAA reauthorization bill, which urges the administrator to complete a study on bleed air and then take action.
Another liberal city gets rid of their progressive prosecutor. I'm Kayla Gaskins with that story straight ahead.
And we'll talk more about our severe weather risk going into the next few days. That coming up.
Liberty Mutual customized my.
You may see better prices for gasoline if you're on the roads this Memorial Day weekend. The Wall Street Journal says regional fuel prices have been moderating. Additional supplies are keeping storage tanks well stocked. Drillers are ramping back up after winter storms impacted some production. A newly expanded pipeline in Canada is adding more crude to the global market. And the Biden administration is releasing 1 million barrels of gasoline, though that is a small fraction of one day's U.S. consumption. A new survey shining a light on the stresses of moving. It shows 25% of Americans say moving is more stressful than landing a plane in an emergency. The poll revealed the average American has already moved 5 times in their lifetime and expects to move 3 more times in the future. And are you car compatible with your partner?
My wife gets me so angry when she comes to a green light. She slows down and then it turns yellow and she stops.
Another new study analyzing the different ways each partner uses and treats their vehicles. The poll showing 1 in 4 Americans consider themselves car incompatible with their partners or spouses. The survey also revealing 10% of men would consider it a deal breaker if they're not car compatible with their partners.
Come on, get through the light. I'm the most impatient person in the world.
That's business. CJ Papa, Fox News.
In national news, the progressive prosecutor out in Portland, Oregon, lost his job this week to an opponent who is flat out tougher on crime.
Well, as Fox 17 News' Kayla Gaskins reports, this comes as voters continue to turn away from soft on crime district attorneys.
The people of Portland, Oregon, opting for change. Voting out progressive prosecutor Mike Schmidt in favor of tougher on crime Republican turned independent Nathan Vasquez.
I am also committed to restoring that idea that it is okay to hold people accountable and doing it in a compassionate manner.
Portland joins a growing trend of liberal cities ousting progressive DAs, many of which came to power in the last few years with the help from George Soros-backed organizations. The first domino to fall in this trend was San Francisco progressive prosecutor Chesa Boudin, who voters booted from office via a recall in 2022.
At least we're seeing the public pushing back.
That same summer, Baltimore's Marilyn Mosby lost her primary. Chicago's Kim Foxx then opted not to run for re-election.
We as a country and we as a community have been doing the same thing for generations.
Now, LA's criminal justice reformer George Gascon is in the middle of a tough re-election race. His opponent, Nathan Hochman, releasing attack ads slamming crime rates under Gascon's leadership. And in Oakland, DA Pamela Price facing a recall just halfway into her term. Voters will decide if she stays or goes in November.
Even some of these most progressive prosecutors are starting to realize that, frankly, if you're going to protect your community and your county, criminals are going to need to be punished.
The movement towards tougher on crime prosecutors hasn't hit every big city. Prominent prosecutors like Philadelphia's Larry Krasner and New York's Alvin Bragg still appear to remain on strong footing. I'm Kayla Gaskins reporting.
In health news tonight, new data shows cases of attention deficit hyperactivity disorder are on the rise in the U.S. among our children. The CDC says that just under 10% of our kids between 3 and 17 have ADHD. That's a little more than 7 million kids total, a million more than 2016. Experts say the rise could be because of growing stress, perhaps anxiety during the pandemic, and maybe a greater number of children who are being tested for it.
Our code red weather threat continues as we head into the next few days. We're going to be focused on low and severe weather risks for Friday and Saturday. Want to briefly touch, though, on our potential severe weather outbreak for Sunday. This will be the time that we're looking at the possibility of multiple severe thunderstorms, mainly in the form of a line. If I had to put a time on it right now, it's going to be a rough timeline, but I would say most likely an evening event, possibly into the overnight. That could easily change between now and then. All modes of severe weather, though, do appear possible, so that is something that we will be watching closely. The next few days, we will continue to see these smaller severe threats like we've seen the past couple of afternoons. We've seen severe weather, severe thunderstorms, and we had a tornado warning today. The tornado threat's not going to be too high. It's not zero, obviously, as we had one this afternoon. A couple of these storms will be able to rotate, but the wind threat and the heavy rain threat is going to be the bigger concern. West of 65, we've got a level 2 out of 5 threat and a level 1 threat to the east, and then tomorrow, or I should say Saturday, a level 1 threat as well. Keep in mind that that's on the low end of the scale, so a few to scattered severe thunderstorms possible for the next few days here. Overall, as I mentioned, wind will be the primary threat, but easily could find some heavy rain, hail, and the brief tornado through Saturday. So we walk you through tomorrow morning. I expect some showers building in throughout the morning hours. Then we get into the afternoon, and you can see more of these showers starting to pop up. A couple of these may become strong. Heavy rain will really be the main concern, especially if we're going to be looking at rain over the same locations that picked up quite a bit of heavy rain today. We saw 5 inches in most of Clay County this afternoon. So that could lead to some runoff real easily if we're looking at these heavy showers passing in. As we take a look 2, 3, 4 o'clock, we continue to see scattered showers. That remains the case through, I would say, tomorrow night before we see things quiet down a little bit going into early Saturday. Model still hinting at maybe a few showers by Saturday morning, and then into the afternoon. The convection remains very scattered across the area, so you will have dry times during your holiday weekend. I do want to stress that it's not going to be a washout any day. Just know that any storm that pops up, it could turn severe fast, and it could drop some heavy rain fast. So just have a backup plan if you're going to be out and about, and just know what's going on with the weather. Make sure you're staying weather aware. Here's a look at our next 7 days. You can see through the holiday weekend, we're in those mid 80s. And the good news is, as we head into the beginning of next week, we begin to dry out. We'll cool down a little bit too. Temperatures will be in those low 80s and even some upper 70s possible. But the sunshine and no rain in the forecast beyond Wednesday.
I'm Jeff Harris in Washington. According to a new study, Americans are opting for marijuana over alcohol. We explain what's causing that shift and if it might switch back coming up.
It can bear over 4,000 times its own weight, and that's just the door.
A new study tonight shows daily marijuana than drinking alcohol.
As Fox 17 News' Jeff Harris explains, millions of people in the U.S. now report using marijuana daily or
here. 3 million less at 14.7 million. According to a new study published in the journal called Addiction, 2022 is the first year daily or near daily marijuana use topped drinking.
I was not surprised. I've been doing research on both alcohol use and cannabis use for quite some time.
That's Bridget Freisteller, a professor at Ohio State University. She says research shows that when a substance becomes more readily available, like marijuana, then the usage will go up.
And that's exactly what the author showed us in this particular paper.
From 1992 to 2022, the study showed that the per capita rate of reporting daily or near daily marijuana use also increased significantly, meaning more people felt comfortable talking about it.
And it will be more accepted among their social circles potentially to use, even if it's, just a couple of times.
A professor at the University of Florida, Amy Gooden, tells us while this study provides great insight, there is still a lot more research that needs to be done on the topic.
So we need to learn about what is happening in terms of health. We need to learn more about what is happening in terms of safety.
But not just health and safety. She says we also need to take a look at more logistical data.
To look into the types of marijuana that people were using or how they accessed it and then why they were using it.
Keep in mind, while daily or near daily marijuana use tops drinking, the study did note that alcohol is still more widely used than marijuana. I'm Jeff Harris reporting from Washington.
We often think it's important to protect against the sun when we have lighter skin, but I'm Liz Bonus. What experts want us to know about darker skin tones as well? It's just ahead.
Hey there, I'm Jennifer Waddell from Fox 17 News this morning. Retail giants are reducing their prices ahead of the summer season with the hopes of luring people back into their stores. Listen, if you're like us, you're kind of cutting back on just about everything because it's so expensive. But we'll tell you where experts say you could be looking for better deals Friday on Fox 17 News this morning.
Feels good.
In health news tonight, a warning as we head into the long Memorial Day weekend about protecting your skin from the sun, no matter your tone.
Well, Fox 17 medical reporter Liz Bonus explains the lasting effects.
Hey there, everybody. When it comes to our skin, we often think protection is needed for lighter skin against the sun. But a warning today that all skin types, even those with darker tones, still have potential cancer risk.
Skin specialist and nurse practitioner Charia Mam spends a lot of time talking to clients about this risk.
She asked me if I use sunscreen on the top of my lip, and I said no.
Charia is the founder of Kentucky's Hue Aesthetics.
The name Hue comes from the concept that we wanted everybody to feel wonderful in their skin, their hue.
She says procedures such as this one, called microneedling, can help remove some surface layer skin damage from the sun. She sees it most when we don't protect against the sun outdoors with protective clothing or sunscreen.
It wasn't until I was older that I started using it.
It is true that white or Caucasian skin is more susceptible to skin cancer, but the misconception is that people of color do not experience skin cancer, and that's not true.
Charia says we often neglect letting those with darker skin know that they are at risk.
As a matter of fact, when they recognize that they have an issue and they go to their provider, they have a higher mortality rate. And that's because they haven't had the education.
There's also skin cancer risk to certain other areas of the body to people of all skin tones, including under your fingernails, on the soles of your feet, the palms of your hands, your eyelids, your scalp, and even your tongue.
We actually have natural SPF in our skin. People of color have a percentage of about 10 to 13%, where white and Caucasian skin has about 3%.
Charia now adds exosomes to microneedling.
Exosomes are the latest advancement in skin technology. It's taken from stem cells. They're tiny little vesicles, and they can go directly into the cell membrane.
But she says nothing is as powerful as prevention.
She does remind us the younger we start skin protection, the better. More than half of our lifetime sun exposure is often before the age of 18. With your health news, I'm Liz Bonus reporting.
All right, next few days going to be busy, and you definitely want to be weather aware. A lot of people coming and going for the holiday weekend.
Yep, and I think the next 2 days should be fairly isolated. It'll just be the luck of the draw. And then Sunday, we could go much of the day without very much rain. It's still up in the air on that. I think the line should be coming in Sunday night. There's still some question marks about it, but could be a Sunday evening into the early morning hours of Monday that we're looking at.
Monday at risk too?
Or it would be very early in the morning, overnight as we're sleeping.
Okay,
probably.
and then it's gone.
Yeah.
Good to know. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you right back here tomorrow.
Good night.